Well, it's December again. It is amazing how time flies when you're having fun. I can't believe it's here already. And yes, my family does celebrate Christmas. I'm not very big on decorating. I have this little fiber optic tree with a bag over it that I stuff in the barn. And I bring it in the house, yank the bag off, stuff it on a table. It has to be on the table so my bad dogs aren't eating the tree. And after Christmas, I just stuff the bag back on it, stuff it back in the barn. But I will be decorating. And when I think about Christmas and the Christmas season, yes, it is true. There are a lot of things about fundamental Christianity that I do not agree with. But I do have great respect for the man, the teacher, Jesus. The cruel and violent things that have been done in the name of the Christian God and the Christ were done by human beings. Things that Jesus himself would never have done. And one of the things that I admire most about Jesus is the love and the compassion that he had for his people, his fellow Jews. The Jewish people were being actually crushed under the rule of the Roman Empire. And the Jewish priests were siding with the Romans in order to protect the temple. So they weren't doing anything to ease the plight of the people. And in fact, in many ways, with their fees and their lending of money and other things, they were actually contributing to the suffering of the people. And so the average Jew had lost all hope. They basically felt that their God had abandoned them. Now, Jesus had deep compassion for these people. He was a truly spiritual man. He was an enlightened master. And he taught them that they had not been abandoned by the divine, that they were loved as children of God, whom he referred to as Papa. And he taught them that they needed to love and help care for one another to ease all of the bad things that were going on with them. So today I'm going to be focusing on love and compassion in honor of the love and compassion that Jesus had for those around him. Now, we all know what love is, hopefully. But do we really understand what compassion is? In the dictionary, compassion is defined as having pity on people. That is not correct. Compassion means to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and feel their pain as if it were our own. The meaning of compassion is totally summed up in the Golden Rule, which basically says that we are to look into our own hearts, discover what gives us pain, and then refuse under any circumstances, no matter what it is, to inflict that pain on anyone else. And that is the true meaning of compassion. So why is it so hard for humanity to be loving and kind? Well, for one thing, it is alien to our modern civilization. Our capitalistic economy is very competitive, and it encourages people to focus on themselves. In other words, to be selfish. But there is another reason, And that reason is the human brain itself. There's been a great deal of research done about the development of the human brain from the cavemen up through the present day. And it has been discovered that our egotistical selfishness is rooted in what is called the old brain, which we inherited from the first creatures to come out of the oceans and live on land 500 million years ago. And that would be the reptiles. Wholly intent on survival, these creatures were motivated by mechanisms that neuroscientists have called the 4 F's: feeding, fighting, fleeing, and making babies. These drives became fast-acting systems, alerting the reptiles to compete without mercy for food, to ward off any threat, large or small, to dominate their territory, to seek a place of safety, and, of course, to produce offspring. Our reptilian ancestors were interested only in power, control, territory, sex, personal gain, and survival. Homo sapiens as a species inherited these neurological systems, and they are located in what is called the old brain and the hypothalamus, which is here at the base of the brain. And of course, it is thanks to those systems that as a species we survived. Now, over the millennium, human beings also developed a new brain, which is the neocortex up here. This is the home of our intellectual reasoning powers, which allows us to step back from the primitive instinctive emotions. However, those 4 F's still continue to influence all of our activities. We are still programmed to acquire more and more goods, to respond instantly to any threat, to fight without mercy for our own survival. These instincts are automatic and overwhelming, and they are meant to override our more rational thought. Now, there are times when this is necessary. For example, it's a beautiful summer day, you're sitting under the tree in your front yard reading a book, and some guy is driving down the street going too fast. He loses control of his car, and you see the car jumping up over the curb, and it is headed right at you. Do you need to get up and run? Yeah, unless you want to get flattened. However, and in our culture and society today, more often than not, there are times when those primitive instincts are not necessary. This is a true story. 5 high school girls, totally furious with this other girl because she wrote something that was uncomplimentary on the internet. So they corner her after school and beat the living daylights out of her. And she spends a month in the hospital. Now, was there, those 5 girls, was their survival at risk here? No. They got their feelings hurt, for crying out loud. And yet they reacted with that old instinct to fight without mercy if you feel like you're under attack. They almost killed this girl because their feelings were hurt. That's operating with the old brain in charge. Now, our two brains, new brain, old brain, coexist uneasily. And this has been fatal, where human beings have employed our new intellectual capacities to enhance and promote old brain motivations. For example, building bigger and better weapons so we can more effectively kill each other. We now have the ability to blow up the entire world and everybody in it. We also build products and machines that not only poison our environment, but it poisons us as well. Medical science has discovered that all of us in these first world countries, all of us, have chemicals from plastics and petroleum in our bodies. Now, is this cancer causing? Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. It's not just our environment that's being polluted, we're polluting ourselves. So what about love and compassion? Where does that fit into this whole brain thing? Well, anthropologists and neuroscientists have been researching the development of benevolent emotions in the human brain. And in the 1950s, a Dr. Paul MacLean discovered that love and compassion, these loving emotions, do not come from the old brain or the new brain. Instead, they come from the limbic system, which is beneath the cortex of the brain. So that's in the middle section of the brain. Thus, the aggressive instincts of the hypothalamus exist along other brain systems that make love and compassion possible. So what does that mean? It means we have a choice. We have a choice. Yes, our automatic reaction may be to fight. For example, somebody makes a very angry, ugly comment to us. Our immediate knee-jerk reaction is fight back. That's the old brain. Instead of just saying, okay, that person has the right to have their opinion. Go for it. We can make a better choice. We don't have to let the primitive brain drive how we run our lives. We can make a better choice. So why are people still killing each other? I mean, we've got the old brain, we've got the intellectual brain, we've got the love and compassion in the middle. Why are we still killing each other? And why are the instincts of the old brain still influencing so much of our behavior? Well, for many, many centuries now, human beings have been focused relentlessly on intellectual development. Guess what happened to spirituality? It's been left in the dust somewhere back there. And yet, spirituality is where we find love and compassion. Spirituality is what gives us greater wisdom that is above and beyond that of that old reptilian brain. Spirituality gives us expanded vision, where we can actually see the big picture and see the value in all life. Human beings as a species, and in the last 20 years that I've been studying spirituality, every major spiritual teacher, all religions, they're all saying the same thing. Human beings have got to grow spiritually. We've got to. Because until we do, the same kind of behavior that we are seeing today will continue. And a perfect example of this is the shooting in San Bernardino. Okay, you've got these two people, and the guy goes in. It's a Christmas gathering. He gets mad for some reason. I don't know if it was because he was mad at somebody, or if he was mad because he's Muslim and it was a Christian celebration. Who knows what it was? But because they're mad, they go in and kill all these people. All these innocent people. That's acting like an animal. That is acting with that old reptilian brain. You make me mad, I don't like you, I will kill you. That's exactly what that is. And we can't keep doing this as a society. We can't. Jesus and so many other teachers, prophets, enlightened masters worldwide have stressed love, compassion, and living a spiritual life. And there is a reason for it. There is a reason for it, because that's what we truly, truly live. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
About animals. Do animals love?
Yes, animals are capable of love. Okay, if you, the old reptilian brain, you got to remember, these are the animals that came out of the ocean and lived on the land. And if you look at how alligators and crocodiles react, they don't love. They don't love. It's food, it's fighting, it's dominance, it's territory, it's making babies. Over time, just as we have evolved, animals have evolved also. And let's face it, anybody who's got a dog knows that an animal is capable of love. And there are other animals that are capable of love. You watch, oh, I know what I can tell you. I was reading some stuff on Hinduism the other day, and I know it's Christmas, but the reason that they worship cows so much is because a cow is the only animal that will nurse and care for any infant, regardless of species. And so they look at that as the way the earth nurtures all of us. And that is why they honor the cow. Yes, animals can love. You know, they don't have the intellectual powers that we have. Do they have instincts? This is why I used to do humane education for the Medina County SPCA. And we always taught people, any dog can bite. Because if they get scared, their immediate instinct is going to be to protect themselves. So you can never ever say, my dog would never bite anybody. Because under the right circumstances, yes, they will, because they have those instincts. They have those instincts. But I say, yes, animals are, you know, you look at how they care for their young, protect their young, that's love. That's love. Yes?
Is there an animal that has a neocortex?
You know what, that I don't know. That I don't know. I would think they have to have something, because obviously animals do have intelligence. It's just not as advanced as ours. So their cortex may be less developed. That I'm not sure of.
Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, they've done studies on elephants, on herds of elephants, and they've actually proven that elephants will breed at the loss of one of the herd, one of the babies. And if the mother actually need that bonding and nurturing and family environment. And they do operate as families.
Yeah.
Like dolphins are the same way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, you know, they're not, are they able to build the atomic bomb? No. Thank God. You know, we get enough trouble with what we're doing. But yes, they have intelligence, and yes, they are capable of emotion. And I happen to believe that animals have souls. I really do. In my opinion, whatever is greater than we are, all life is sacred. Whether it's a tree, a plant, an animal, a human, whatever it is. An insect. It's all sacred because it's all life. Okay, let me see where I am here.